Previously on Weekend Game Finds.
And honestly, the garage sale forecast for this last weekend did not look promising. Here's the N64 system he said he had. Nothing too special here, just a black system. Vanilla Coke. This one was kind of a buzzkill actually. It is Sunset Riders game and manual. Laugh if you want, but we got Barbie Supermodel. I did go to a couple garage sales on Friday morning. There really wasn't that many going on, and at the first sale we went to, or the first sale I went to, I found a PS1 DualShock controller and a copy of Barbarian for the PS2. And it is complete, and it also comes with a bonus Spyro the Dragon manual for the PS1, in addition to the Barbarian manual, which is in there. Obviously asked if they had any more video games. They said that that was all they had, so I asked how much, and the lady said, $2 for both of them. And before I could even take my wallet out of my pocket, she's like, you know what, just give me $1 for both of them. So I don't know if I had like a look on my face or what, but in any case, it worked. I got them both for $1. And that was all we found, or that was all I found at the garage sales on Friday. So like I said, forecast wasn't looking good, and it really wasn't. But after the garage sales, I get a text message from that guy that I bought, the N64, the PS2, and the Genesis stuff off of yesterday, the one having the garage sale. And he said, would you be interested in buying another N64 system? He's like, I just found my old N64 system and a bunch of games. And I was like, yeah, definitely, So Friday afternoon, I walked up there again, and we had a pretty nice N64 lot here. So I'll just start going through this stuff. We got another black system here. Once again, no expansion pack, but it's in decent condition. I'll clean it up a little bit. And that had both of the adapters with it here. Two controllers. Here's the original first-party one here. Actually has a first-party rumble pack in it as well. And then this controller, which I've never seen before, is one of those third-party Shark Pack or Interact Shark Pad controllers. And I've seen them like this before, like these Shark Pad controllers, but the ones I've seen are like those ones that don't have the 3 handles here, they just have the 1. Some of you hopefully know what I'm talking about anyway. We got that, probably doesn't work, but we'll try it out. And then I think 10 or 11 games here, actually, which like 5 or 6 of which I didn't have, so that was cool. We got Star Wars Shadows of the Empire here, which I do already have, but the back of my cartridge I think is like yellowing a little bit, so this one's in pretty much perfect condition, so I'll switch that one out for mine. We got Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, which is a very common game. Okay, we got Army Men Sarge's Heroes 1, Army Men Sarge's Heroes 2, and Army Men Air Combat, which I believe was all 3 games, or all 3 Army Men games for the N64. I think they only made 3 of them, so got all of those, which was cool. I think I already had Army Men 1, but it was cool to get the other 2. We got GoldenEye 007, Player's Choice, which is funny because if you guys remember that video a long time ago where I got those complete in-box N64 games from the Goodwill, I got Super Mario 64, Mario Golf, and I got 007 complete in box. However, the cartridge that came in the box was an original release of the cartridge. Yet the box I got was a Player's Choice box. So I don't know what happened, but this is actually a Player's Choice copy of the game. And I think I'm going to put this one in the box with the manual that I had and probably trade that or sell that, just because I'm not one for Player's Choice games. I know it's not a huge deal on N64 games, but I'd rather just have the original release, and I'm sure I'll find the box and manual for it eventually. So I got Star Wars Rogue Squadron, which I don't believe I have. And I don't even know they made Paperboy for the N64, but here it is. Cruisin' USA, which is another one I don't think I had. We got Hey You Pikachu. Now, he knew this game was supposed to come with a microphone, and he said he couldn't find it. I'm not too concerned about it. I thought this game was terrible, and he did as well. He told me he remembered getting it on Christmas morning and being so excited and then so disappointed when he started playing it. I don't blame him. I don't think that game was that good either. And then we got Wave Race 64, which I was actually really happy to see because I just recently got rid of my copy of the game because, it was Player's Choice, and it's such a common game. I knew I was going to find another copy of it sometime in the near future. So we got a original release of that game, and then finally we got Mario Kart 64. So after I finished looking through all this stuff, I looked down, and in a box at my feet was like a volleyball, there was like a tennis racket, some other miscellaneous stuff. And in the bottom of the box, I somehow spotted a Game Boy game, a black cartridge Game Boy game. And so I picked it up, and I was like, hey, do you have any more of these anywhere? And he was like, oh, I didn't know that you'd be interested in Game Boy stuff. And I was like, yeah, I mean, if you're willing to sell it, bring out whatever you got. So he went into his house. 5 minutes later, comes out with a huge box of Game Boy stuff. And I mean, this box isn't full by any means, but you guys can see there. We got quite a few Game Boy games down here. And I'll go through these quickly. See if I can do this in some kind of order here. We got Pac-Man Special Color Edition. Game & Watch Gallery 3. Warner Brothers Quest for Camelot. Star Wars Yoda Stories. We got Mary-Kate and Ashley Get a Clue. Now, if I remember correctly, this was a Disney Channel movie back in the day. And don't judge me, but this was a good movie, okay? I'm sure the game is terrible, but Get a Clue was a good movie. I loved that movie back in the day. Let's see, we got Link's Awakening, a Player's Choice Link's Awakening. We got Ants. And let's see, we got some Game Boy Color games here now. Winnie the Pooh Adventures in the 100-Acre Wood. Dinosaur. Mario Golf. NASCAR Challenge. Unfortunately missing the battery cover there. As is this one. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, missing the battery cover. Tonka Raceway with the battery cover. Monsters Inc. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Killer Instinct for the original Game Boy. Army Men. Game Boy Color. Donkey Kong Country Game Boy Color. 007 The World Is Not Enough Game Boy Color. Pokemon Crystal version. Definitely cool to see that one in there. Pokemon Silver version. Gold version. Blue version. Yellow version. Game Boy Advance Ruby version. And I think that was all the Pokemon games in here, but definitely happy to see those in there. Anyway, the rest of these are Game Boy Advance games. Got Harry Potter, Batman Vengeance, SimCity 2000, 007 Nightfire, Simpsons Road Rage, Frogger's Adventures, Driver Advance 2, Batman, and the label's ripped so I can only see half of the title. It's Batman, or Spider-Man, Something's Menace. Jurassic Park 3, The DNA Factor. Salt Lake 2002. Never seen this one before. Dragon Ball Z, collectible card game. Tony Hawk 2. So we got Tony Hawk 2 for the Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color. 007 Everything or Nothing. Dragon Ball Z Legacy of Goku. Can't make out the title of this one. If anyone recognizes what that is, let me know. I guess I could just not be lazy and put it in my system and find out for myself. Got Need for Speed Underground. And Madden 2004. That was it for the Game Boy Advance games, but we got a Boombox Boy, which must be like a radio that you plug into your Game Boy. Probably Game Boy Advance. And then there was a few other random things in here as well. For the PSP, we got The Godfather. And then we got 2 DS games here, loose cartridge. We got Retro Atari and Super Mario 64 DS. So, you know, he brought all that stuff out, and I had no idea how much he was going to be asking for everything. He told me that originally that he was wanting $50 for the N64 lot, which you know, after looking at the games, I reasoned that $50 for that N64 lot was a decent deal. I figured I could probably sell the system and the Mario Kart and the GoldenEye and get my money back, my $50 back, and then just keep the games that I need for my collection and basically get them for free. So that was the original plan. But then after he brought this stuff out, I had no idea how much he was going to be wanting for it. I figured a lot, considering he even told me, he was like, yeah, I know you can sell those Pokemon games for quite a bit. And so I was expecting some, outrageous number. But he actually said, he's like, would you give me $55 for everything? And I was like, yeah, definitely. That works for me. Obviously, a great deal. He even was willing to throw in some of the games that I had left the previous day when I was there. There was a few things that I did not grab. You'll probably see why when I show them here. But we got NFL Street, NBA Live 2005, Madden 2004. Another iToy Play. Why there's 2 of them, I have no idea. And then we got Medal of Honor Frontline for the GameCube, which is deceiving because it's actually disc 1 for Enter the Matrix. I mean, the manual's in there and it's got the case for Medal of Honor, but I'll probably just use this for a spare case because it's in good condition. Unless, of course, anyone needs disc 1 for Enter the Matrix. It's in good shape. So let me know if you need disc 1 for Enter the Matrix. And on top of that, he threw in another DDR pad that apparently I just missed the day before, and another Guitar Hero controller. Obviously 2 things that I don't need, but they weren't going to be able to sell them without the games. So I figured I might as well just take them. They were just taking up space in their garage, essentially. So, and after he told me he'd throw that stuff in, I was like, you know what, I'll just round it up to $60. I'll give you $60 for everything instead of $55 because I was already getting a great deal, so I didn't mind throwing in a few extra dollars for him. So that was probably, the best score of the weekend there, but we did get some more stuff. Actually, got some more stuff on Friday still. After I got that, I drove up to the Goodwill. I had to return a couple of controllers that I had bought a couple days ago. I'd bought like 6 controllers from there. They had like an N64 controller, an Xbox controller, and like 4 PS2 controllers. 2 of the PS2 controllers did not work. One of them just didn't work at all. The other one didn't. The rumble didn't work, and it was all cracked up anyway. And the N64 controller was all beat up and didn't work. So I brought those back up there to return them. And I really got to start watching what I buy from there because starting August 1st, I don't know if it's just our Goodwill or if it's all Goodwills, but ours, I know for sure, is not taking returns anymore after August 1st. So we're going to have to start being extremely careful with what we buy there because I've returned quite a few things there in the past couple months, and I don't want to be throwing my money away on stuff that doesn't work. So either we're gonna have to start taking chances or just be extremely careful with what we buy. But anyway, I returned those 3 controllers, so I was getting like $6 and some change back in either store credit or cash since it was within 48 hours. So I decided to pick these up while I was there. Again, we got a small stack of PS1 games here that I'd seen sitting there for a while, and they're all purple tags here. I was just waiting for the day that purple tags went on sale for 99 cents, and luckily these all were still there. So we got Skateboarding featuring Andy McDonald, MLB 98, Greatest Hits Casper. So I won't be putting this in my collection, but I figured, Casper for $1. Good deal. And then Test Drive Off-Road 2. So again, all 4 of those were 99 cents a piece. Plus I got $2 and some change cash back for the return. So happy to pick those up. There are some more PS1 games there that are a different color sticker that hopefully will still be there when that color goes on sale for 99 cents, and I will pick those up as well. And that was all we got for Friday. Now Ryan spent the night Friday night at my house, and Saturday morning we got up and went out to the garage sales. There was one sale on our list that we wanted to make sure we got to first. It was top priority because it said they were selling Wii Misc, so Wii Miscellaneous. We didn't know if that meant like games or just accessories or a system or what, but we got there. Unfortunately, Wii Misc meant 3 Wii games. So for $5 total, we got SimCity Creator, The George of the Jungle, and The Search for the Secret, and Pets, Crazy Monkeys. So, you know, not the greatest titles in the world, but for $5 total, it's under $2 a game. Not bad. Alright, so we drove around to a couple more sales, didn't find anything. Pulled up to this one sale. It's just a really weird sale. The people that were running it were weird. The house it was at was weird. And I don't know if the sale was the previous day as well, but they had apparently left all the stuff out overnight and it had rained. So everything they were selling was just completely soaked. And of course we come across some video games that are soaked. We got 2 original Xbox games here and 1 Xbox 360 game. I'll go ahead and just show these first before I explain what we had to do to these. We got 2 copies of Doom here for the original Xbox. Now, they're different games though. This one is Doom 3 Resurrection of Evil, and this one is just straight up Doom 3. So I don't know if they're completely different games or if this is just a different version of Doom 3. I mean, they're both Xbox Live enabled and everything, so I don't really know what the difference is. And then for the 360 we got Amped, which is just a snowboarding game. But anyway, like I said, it had rained and everything they had out had gotten completely soaked, including these games. Now, you guys know that Xbox artwork and manuals and water don't mix. Of course, you know, if you get a manual like this wet and you let it dry closed like this, you will never be able to open that ever again. I mean, the page is essentially glued together, and there's no way you're going to be able to open it without just completely tearing apart the pages. But as you can see, the pages are not stuck together. So we had to do a little salvaging work here. We had to put our thinking caps on, and we're like, okay, what can we do to save these manuals? And the artwork. I mean, the artwork was soaked as well. So what we did for the artwork is we took it out of the case, we just laid it out on my table, let it dry, and after it dried, we flattened them out, and we put some like textbooks and stuff on top of them to try and flatten them out, because of course when the water dried and stuff, they were a little bit wrinkled and whatnot, and they still are. We weren't able to salvage the cover art too much, but I mean, you can't really, I don't know, if you didn't know that they got wet, you probably wouldn't notice, but it's definitely wrinkled a little bit. But we did that for all the cover art, and for the manuals, we got smart. We took a deck of playing cards, actually, and we stuck 1 card in between each page, and we let it dry. So when it dried, none of the pages were touching each other, so none of them stuck together. And I mean, as you can see, this one here, like, you would never even know that it got wet. I think this Doom manual, yeah, I mean, the pages on the back pages on this one are a little bit wrinkled, but again, none of the pages are stuck together or anything. So I'm very glad that we thought to do that, or else these games would have been essentially ruined. I didn't even check the disc to make sure. I mean, yeah, the disc has some minor surface scratches on it and stuff, but it should play fine. And I believe these Doom games are actually like $10 games for the Xbox, so that was cool, especially because we got all of these for $0.25 a piece, so 75 cents total. Everything at this garage sale was just dirt cheap. It was just a shame that it all got rained on. Anyway, so we got those. Stopped at one more sale that day, and just randomly, completely random, found 2 NES games. We got John Elway's Quarterback and Kings of the Beach, both in dust sleeves here. And then we found Real Sports Volleyball for the Atari 2600. And they were all marked for 50 cents a piece, but they told us they had to get rid of everything, so just make an offer. I was like, all right, give you $1 for everything, and they took it. So, not the greatest games, obviously. Ryan and I both already have these, but a couple dust sleeves and an Atari game for $1. So that was a decent end of the day, I guess. So that was all we got at the garage sales on Saturday. Like I said, not a great weekend for garage selling, but we actually did get one more deal on Saturday. Ryan and I were hanging out in my basement playing some Lufia on my Super Nintendo, and just like last time we were playing Lufia, I got a text from someone in response to my Craigslist ad that I had posted, and the guy was asking me if I would be interested in buying some NES games. And I asked him what games. He gave me a list and whatnot. He said he was looking to get $20 for everything. And I offered 15, but he was sticking at 20, and it wasn't a great deal by any means, but it was a good deal, I'd say. So I agreed on 20, and I could tell this guy was just a sketchy guy. Just from texting him, you could just tell sometimes. He was like, "Yeah, I'll give you a call when I get off work at 4." I waited till 5 before I texted him, and he was like, "Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot." And then he was like, "Can you meet me here?" And then 5 minutes later, it was like, "Can you meet me here instead?" And I don't know, it was kind of a mess, but we got the deal done. Met up with him, and I'll show you the games we got here. We got Legacy of the Wizard. We got To the Earth. Yeah, Legend of Zelda, which is cool because it's the gray cartridge here. So he told me he had Legend of Zelda. I didn't know if it was the gold card or the gray card. I figured the gold card, but it was cool to see that instead. Bump and Jump. The Hunt for Red October. Super Mario Bros. A 3-screw Super Mario Bros. Simpsons Bart vs. the Space Mutants, which I think might be in a little better condition than mine. I'll have to check. Might have to switch that one out. And Dragon Warrior. Also got an NES controller. I asked if he had any other games or any of the systems or anything. He said that was all he had. So $20 for that. After I gave him the money and took a good look at this guy, I realized that the $20 I just gave him probably was going towards drugs later that night. But whatever. That's his problem. I got his NES games. I'm happy. And anyway, that was it for the haul from this last weekend. So again, not a great weekend of garage sailing, but still got some pretty sweet stuff. And we got to go hang out with that other local collector. Turns out he's a really cool guy, and we're definitely looking forward to going up there again sometime in the near future, hanging out, talking video games, and of course spending some more money. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for sticking around and checking out the whole video. And until next time, take care.